look very good. So the question is, what are the real problems in that segment of the entire gamut of unemployment in the country, and what specifically can be done by way of fixing those problems? Desmond will help us find some very key insights this morning on the program. As soon as we establish a stream with him, a video stream that is, we'll get him back on. In the meantime, we'll take a short break. Desmond Olufowobi joining us live via Zoom from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you, Desmond, this morning for deciding to come on the program.
Thank you for having me. Good morning to you.
So I want us to talk about unemployment, but with particular focus on youth unemployment. Help us make sense with a few perspectives.
Yeah, I didn't get that. What did you say? Do you mean my perspective about youth unemployment in Nigeria? Hello?
All right, Desmond, we can hear you all right. You're live. You're live on the program already. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Excellent. So I'm saying, now that we're on the show, we're looking at unemployment in particular, I mean in general, but in particular, we're looking at youth unemployment. Help us make sense of that.
Well, thank you for having me this morning. Nigeria, with a vast growing youth population, Nigeria is estimated to be a country of about 240 million people. And about 75% of that country's population is youth population between the age of 15 and 35. And the growing population also results in a high rate of youth unemployment that has bedeviled the country. For a very long time now, the country has been swimming in this high rate of unemployment, which has affected the young population. And about 35 to 34%, 0.4 of the country total population is currently unemployed. And between some years back now, we've been dancing front and back between 7.5, 8.5. At our fourth quarter last year, we sit about 13.4% unemployment rate, and the first quarter of 2023 is around 13%. So this figure is really a major concern. And, unemployment is a big issue anywhere, anytime in the world because of the devastating effects or consequence of unemployment. Uh, we sort of one of the cause of crime, or the increase in crime rate, is youth unemployment. Youth unemployment also contribute to bad or harsh economy of a country. So these are the major causes of unemployment. So that's why the big challenge. Nigeria is one of the country with the challenge. Nigeria is one of the country in the world that is currently suffering youth unemployment. And I believe that the government and every concerned persons should see it as a threat to our national development, growth, stability, and peace.
Excellent, Desmond. So I want to talk about the place of education. I mean, I've spoken with a handful of bright minds like yourself over the same topic for quite some years. And they always talk about how that our education, I mean, we need to, as a country, take a second, if you like, holistic look at the kind of education that we have in Nigeria. I mean, we churn out hundreds of thousands of graduates every other year, yet we don't have the market, so to speak, to provide them with jobs. Around the world now, what you hear is STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. How can Nigeria as a country, in ways that are very pragmatic and practical, be able to tie the quality of education that we have to the capacity to provide jobs for our people?
First of all, you need to understand, when we talk about youth unemployment, there are factors that actually result into that. One of the factor that is responsible for high unemployment rate in Nigeria is that every year the country churn out thousands of youth that are not qualified for the jobs that we have in the labor market. So it's one of the factor. It's not about education, it's about the quality of education. It's not about the quality of education, it's about the capacity of the skills that you are giving out to fit into the labor market as at that time. There's time for everything. There's time for the kind of education that we are given in Nigeria, and matching it with employability. There are times in this country, with this level of education we are having, that even before you graduate from school, you'll be there is a job waiting for you, and you even have opportunity to choose between jobs. And there are two factors responsible for that. One, the jobs available at that time meet the opportunities around that as at that time. I'm talking about this in the 60s. And as time goes on, we have a rapid growth in our population, which also reduces those kind of jobs. But presently, the reality is that there has been a swift change. There has been a generational shift in the kind of jobs that is available now and the kind of education that we are still churning out. Why the job is moving fast, why there's job migration, why the world is changing so fast, our education system is not meeting or changing to meet the challenges of the requested or the required job in the present global change. You see, as I tell you, basically there are countries in the world that are still looking for manpower. Even in Nigeria, there are millions of line jobs there that you need experts from outside the country, or you need to look for the best here. And you need to understand that there are jobs in Nigeria, but the kind of education that Nigerians are acquiring does not meet with the opportunity available. So our education system needs a total overhaul. And education, there is a connection between the quality of our country education and the growth in our economy. Our education system does not prepare people or young people for the kind of economy that we have. Quite a lot of companies are closing down because of incompetence, not because of lack of jobs. And you need to understand that competency, quality, value is as a result of education. So there is a big connection between education and job opportunity. Today, I have jobs, but I'm still looking for skills. You see, this it's about time that we need to match or marry skills and education. And when I say skills, I'm talking about life skills. I'm talking about global skills. I'm talking about skills that can prepare you to solve global problems. And that is where the issue of technology comes in. That's where the issue of what? AI comes in. That's where the issue of engineering comes in and all that. These are the current problems of the world since COVID-19. Since COVID-19 pandemic, you can see that there's been a lot of change, even in our jobs delivery, and our education system is still lagging behind. And that is why we're having this kind of problem. If our education system, if the president or the country can declare a total state of emergency in our education, look at the current realities in town. See, it's all about value. I need value. People need value. There are jobs that we can create if we can change our education system. There are a lot. Look at food. Look at Nigeria still import most of their foods. Nigeria still import most of their skills. Most of the things we use in this country are still imported, and these are values. We can't do them because we do not have the value. We do not have the skill set to do all these things, and that is why Nigeria government should declare what I describe as skill for all Nigerians. One of the requirements to gain access into university should be skills, and our education should be practical, not theoretical. Look at Ekiti State. I'm sorry to say this. Ekiti State is one of the countries in the world where we have thousands of professors. Professors, Nigeria, if you're looking for a country or a state in Nigeria where you have the highest number of professors, you go to Ekiti State. Now, try to relate the level of development, economic prosperity in Ekiti State with the level of professors we have there. You see that there is a disconnect. It's because the kind of education that we are having as this country does not prepare us for the problems or the solution that we are looking for. So, and that is why I wanted to understand that there should be a total state of emergency on our education, and there are a lot of problems. And education is to help you solve problems. And when you're solving problems, you are creating value. And when you're creating value, you are better the economy of a particular country.
That's quite a brilliant narrative there, no doubt, Desmond. But let's look at what young people across this country have done in the last couple of years and what they are still doing as we discuss on this show this morning, particularly in areas like agriculture, areas like of course, tech, like you rightly mentioned. We're seeing young people now starting up their own ecosystems in tech, in agriculture, starting up their own incubation centers, some of them supported by government, some of them by international donor agencies, and so on and so forth. How much more support can government give to these young people? Because the private sector can't go it all alone. Because, I mean, come to think of it, in the end, the government must be able to play its part, whether it's ease of business or creating, as we have always talked about, the enabling environment for these young people to thrive.
That is infrastructure. You see, why we attribute some of this challenge of unemployment to skills and the kind of job opportunities. Another challenge is infrastructure. And when you talk about infrastructure, basically, you're talking about the both enabling environment and fiscal infrastructure. You see, I'm talking about policy and fiscal infrastructure. These are directly answering your question that Nigeria government needs to do more. It is a known fact that electricity is a major challenge in this part of the world. And government needs to see that as part of their own responsibility while you leave Nigeria youths to grapple with the needed skills. There are certain things that the government needs to do. I think one of the best that government can do is two things. Talking about electricity, increase your national grid. I'm happy with the direction the recent reformed government is going. Just about 2 weeks ago, there is a contract with a UAE government to generate about 12,000 megawatts of electricity in Nigeria, looking at green energy or running away from fossil fuel. You see, that is one. And another thing is what? Enable environment. While we have loan for students, we should also have loans for entrepreneurs. Nursing Bank is trying, Afribank is trying, Bank of Agriculture is trying, but I think there needs to be more. There needs to be more, and there needs to be awareness. There needs to be awareness. if all these things can be put in place, I'm very sure that, because it will better the country. You see, the more young people you have doing one thing or the other, the better for this country. Nigeria is our population should not be a disadvantage. It should be an advantage for us. And then every Nigerian people have energy. There is this energy, but when you have energy without skills, it's a major problem. And when you have energy without enable environment, is another big challenge. So there needs to be a balance. The government should think critically on the population. You see, when you have a proper statistic of the population, you have a proper statistic of those who need road infrastructure, those who need electricity infrastructure, and also loan. And you're able to bring all these things together, you'll find out that this country will go in the right pedestal. See, every young Nigerian is energized. Most of the young people in this country wants to do something, wants to be engaged in something. Though some don't want to work in agricultural sector, some want to work in tech sector, some want to be basically produce, and some want to depend on skills. And all these things are about
I'm beginning to notice that we lost the audio stream there with our guests. I'd like to say a big thank you to you, Desmond Olufowobi, socio-economic commentator, for these valuable insights you've shared this morning with regards to youth unemployment, what the real problems are, and your own assessment, what the government can do going forward to fix them. Thank you so very much, everyone. And that's our show for you today. We're grateful for the time you've invested with us on Global Morning. I'm Muyi Agbomofobi.
Hello, I didn't get that. I didn't get
on behalf of my co-anchors and the entire production team here at Global Television in Abuja.